Welcome back, everyone. I know it's been about 5 years since I've uploaded anything, but I've officially finished my Marine Corps contract as of 5 days ago, so it was a great time. Just wasn't able to come home as often as I thought I'd be able to be able to like work on things, keep uploading. Down on the floor, you saw me put it there. We got a brand new Z1 Motorsports street clutch kit with new flywheel and the CSC Elimination kit version 2. I've already done a couple things. I've already like inspected everything, and then I've also pressed the throw-out bearing as required. So just to save a little bit of time. I'm not trying to struggle on camera all that much. I'm going to struggle, don't get me wrong. But this is gonna be the first video back, and I'm glad to be back home. And I know I spent a little bit of about 4 years of the last 5 gaming, and I just don't think I was meant to be a gamer. I think I was meant to work on cars. So let's get into it. So here today we're working on the 2009 Nissan 370Z. I bought this back in 2023 from Santa Ana, California. It's been a great daily. I think I put 17,000 miles on this thing in 2.5 years. But it's also very hot. So chances are we'll probably be going back and forth when we're dealing with this. So we're gonna go through, we're gonna disconnect the negative, which I believe in my case it's a 12 or a 13. But we're gonna just grab an adjustable wrench and call it a day. Wait, what am I doing? I installed a new terminal earlier for this specific reason. Well, I lost that to the plastic. But negative, battery terminal is removed, no chance of touching again. Easy. So now, I'm gonna work on getting this thing on the lift. All right, so we just got the shifter taken apart. Should be good on that side of things. I'm not replacing the shifter. It's already got a pretty nice shifter in it. We are ready to get this drive shaft out. So let's get down there. So right here, this one's already been loosened. And that one's already been loosened. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip this up. I'm gonna step back up, throw on the e-brake, and let's get this out. All right, so all we're gonna do here should be, I mean, be relatively quick for y'all, but not for me. We're disconnecting this catalytic converter support. There's a bolt on each catalytic converter and then two on the bottom of the transmission housing. And then after that, we're gonna start disconnecting things up in that are on the transmission. And once we get to that part, we'll come back. We're at the point where we've gotten the clutch line disconnected. We've gotten a lot of the connectors disconnected, but I gotta drop this down a little bit to get the ones on top. No big deal. We got the two starter bolts out, and then the bottom two underneath where that inspection cover is for inside, like the flywheel clutch area. We got those two bolts out, and then we got that third one out, which is up by that light, just by sticking a super long extension next to the oil pan through the like above the subframe assembly with the power steering rack, and boom, super easy. But we're gonna get to cranking out all of these transmission bolts.
So a little problem here is short seating lift does not lift it up high enough to get the transmission fully out, which I mean isn't a big deal. It's gonna be in the way. But yeah, there's first looks at that. Let me grab the light. Let me throw that up in the tunnel. There we go. I'm not seeing any like stamps on this at all. But that's the clutch on it.
And then we're gonna get in here, we're gonna get this clutch out first and the flywheel, replace that rear main seal. And then once a new clutch kit's on, then we'll switch over to replacing the CSC with the CSC Elimination kit from Z1. Let's get it. All right, welcome back to day 2 of replacing the clutch and the slave cylinder on my 370Z. So we ran into a little problem yesterday where the camera was overheating really bad and the battery was dying super fast. So I ended up switching to wired power versus battery power, which worked out so much better. Then I was still overheating, probably because of the fact that the car was hot and it was like just radiating off all that heat. Anyway, besides the point. Before I was so really interrupted by the camera overheating last night. We did finish getting the clutch installed, which I will go grab my light, but we have the brand new Z1 road race clutch installed. We did make sure to use some Loctite 271 on that. So next we have to worry about installing the basically slave cylinder elimination kit, and we're going to change it from basically a centrifugal slave cylinder, which I just told myself, let me grab a light. I don't know why I do the things I do sometimes. Okay, woo, flashbang myself. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of this. And pretty much, I mean, you can tell that this was done with like there was a repair shop that did something to it. They replaced it at some point in time. But we're gonna clean out this bell housing. Just gonna give it a quick little wipe down, and then yeah, let's get this all taken apart.
So when you're cleaning this, just make sure not to spray the bearings with the brake clean. Just get the surface where the gasket sits. Use a little bit of like green scrubby to clean up the surface. You only need a thin coat of RTV when you do this, and make sure to put it on both sides of that gasket. The 4 bolts that I've done last require RTV on the threads because the bolts go into the transmission where they touch gear oil, and you don't want that gear oil leaking back through the bolts.
All right, so with the install of the throwout bearing plate, throwout bearing, and the clutch fork, or the throwout bearing fork, whatever you want to call it, it's time to put in the transmission. But first, we actually have to replace a line, now that I remember. We're replacing the main line that runs from the hard line from the cylinder. It goes from hard line to soft line. We're replacing that soft line with a brand new stainless steel one. We've also been joined by Daisy. She decided to come out to the garage finally. Say hello to the camera, Daisy.
Who's a good puppy? Who's a good puppy? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Good girl. Or I made a little bit of a mess.
But it's okay. It's all a part of the process. So yeah, we're gonna get this new soft line installed right here, Z1 Motorsports, and then we're gonna work on getting that transmission in. So let's get to it. All right. So what we ended up having to do was take out the catalytic converter on the driver's side over here in order to be able to get to the soft line flare, which is right there. So as you can see, it is not the easiest thing to get to. I cannot get a flare nut wrench on there, so I ended up having to just hopefully not stripping it with a
regular open end of a wrench. I have it loose now, but just so y'all can see what's going on here. All right, well, new line is in right here with banjo fitting on it. Time to clean up this mess and get that transmission back in. I've already got the wiring out of the way. Only thing in my way is all these tools down here. Look at all this. Let's get it all cleaned up. Got this all cleaned up. Pretty much a nice smooth area for the transmission jack to basically come forward. I'm hoping that that front wheel doesn't stop me in this little lip right here. It's all good if that happens. But we are ready. We got our bolts in their correct order over here, including a bunch of like other plates and stuff. Which, so much to do. So much to do. We're only like halfway done. Because now we got to go through and install everything back. Actually, I'll give it like 65%, not halfway. But let's start that time lapse. Let's get that transmission in.
So the A bolts will be torqued to 55 foot-pounds and the B bolts will be torqued to 34 foot-pounds. And here you'll see that I installed M6 rivet nuts, so that inspection cover can come off easier and I don't have to fight the nuts on top of the subframe.
So here we are, we're at the point of bleeding the clutch. I'm actually gonna I'm gonna show you what I'm doing, and I'm gonna use the camera to help me so that I don't overtake brake fluid from the master cylinder. So check it out. So down here, I have a handheld vacuum, a little cup that just so happened to knock on its side within the time of me grabbing the GoPro. That pretty much has, that line runs up to the bleeder of the CSC slave cylinder. So what I'm gonna have you guys do is a very important job. And y'all are gonna be my eyes, so I'm gonna have my phone down there.
So one thing I will say here is that the Z1 install manual does tell you to install these heat shields and dust cover before doing the slave cylinder. I wish I'd saw that sooner. If you wait and do it like I did, you're going to struggle with it.
All right, well, I suck. Just try to start the car, and it's not good. Nah, I'm just kidding. Actually, the only thing I do have to fix is we have to fix the clutch pedal a little bit. It is extremely soft. It's not disengaging all the way, and the disengage point is extremely low. Like, not low to the ground, but it's non-existent. Like, you cannot disengage the clutch right now, which tells me I probably have a little bit more air in the system, or I have to adjust the actual like clutch pedal that's underneath the dash. But no, the reason I say I suck is because I didn't realize that the camera had overheated and shut itself off. But in the meantime, we have successfully put a little over 3 quarts of Amsoil Severe Gears 7590. Great stuff, I love it. Which my dad's actually an Amsoil dealer. We'll get into that in a later video. This is not the video for that. So we have drive shaft in, which I think is where we left off. I'm gonna have to see what footage corrupted what's in it. We got all the exhaust in with all the new gaskets. Everything's all electrically connected. That's pretty much where we left off. We got those heat shields on. Yeah. So tomorrow, because it is really dark outside, it is almost 11:30 at night. So it's day 2. I think we're about 19 hours into this project, 19 to 20 hours. This is what happens when you don't know what you're doing beforehand, okay? Watch some videos like this one so you can run into unexpected, expect it when it happens. So we're gonna come back tomorrow, bleed out this clutch, potentially, or adjust it via the pedal. And then if we can get that working, we're taking this thing on a joyride. Okay, well, I wasn't doing this last night, but we have the OSO code P0300. which is random/multiple cylinder misfire detected. Which is why it's running so rough. Which I don't know why it would. I mean, the only thing I can probably think of is maybe the crank sensor, like the crank flywheel sensor, got up putting this back together. I guess now I'm just gonna have to let this cool down and wait a little bit. Oh well. All right, so I know we kind of left off at like a little bit of a rough note on like disconnecting the battery, blah 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 blah. Going to look at taking out the crankshaft position sensor, see if we broke it, right? Yeah, that was not the problem. I'm sure the GoPro caught the footage
If I filmed this. So what happened was this little worm clamp came loose on the intake, and it was just sitting up and off, and a bunch of air was getting in past the map.
I'm pretty sure that's what was causing the misfire. So I'm gonna go back there, reconnect the battery. We're gonna open up the door and start this thing again and see if it's still misfiring. It shouldn't. I retightened the intake tube to the air box. Let's see what this has in store for us. And all my misfire issues were just from a disconnected intake tube that I'd never disconnected. I don't know how it became disconnected, but it was disconnected. So let's get this garage cleaned up real quick so I can get the car out of here. I just have to clean up the stuff that's behind it. And let's get this thing out and let's go on a little test ride.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the content, hit that thumbs up button. Let me know down in the comments below what you really liked about it, and we can try and keep that going forward into future videos. If you don't like the video, just hit that thumbs down button and let me know down in the comments like what I gotta fix, what you guys want to see more of. We got a lot of projects coming up. I look forward to sharing them with you all. I will catch you in the next video.